and for you to make that decision. So if you go to the next slide, please, Amy. This is our 4th session on the Family Engagement Series, and it's going to be focusing on special education and early childhood. And so Amy Recker is here with us tonight, and she is one of our early childhood consultants. So thanks so much, Amy, for hanging out with us tonight, and I look forward to your presentation.
Thank you, Kim. As she said, I'm Amy Recker, and I just want to give you a little bit of information about me. I was a preschool intervention specialist for 12 years, and then I actually was a preschool supervisor for 13 years. And after that, I have come here to the State Support Team 6 as the early childhood consultant. And just as a side note, I also have a son who is 22 who has autism and has been in special education services from birth until he was 22. Tonight's objective is to help to increase your knowledge of special education in early childhood eligibility to support your partnerships with your child's district, ESC, and/or DD. And we will have, this is about a 20 to 25 minute overview of the content. We'll have general questions later, but if for some reason you would have any questions, you can follow up with me. My email address is arecker@sst6.org. Okay, so this is the Ohio Department of Education Strategic Plan for Education, and it is in effect from 2019 to 2024. The goal is to support the needs of the whole child, to meet one of the 4 E's 1 year after graduation, to be enrolled in higher education, enlisted, earning a living wage, or engaged in a meaningful, self-sustaining vocation. One of the 3 core principles to help all children reach this goal is partnership. And that is why we're here today. And then there are the 10 priority strategies, and there are many of these that relate to early childhood. And I've also clicked on meeting the whole needs of the child, as well as expanding quality early learning. All right, and then this is just, the whole key here is partnership. Partnership is the key to the success for your child. It isn't always easy, we know that, but it can be done. One of the most important steps is this partnership is educating yourself so that you are able to know the rights for your child as well as your rights as a parent. And then there is a link. When you get this, you will be able to access these links, but there's the Center for Parent Information and Resources. Some information about a Q&A about Part B of IDEA parent participation. So you'll see there's a few more links on this page that you'll be able to access after tonight. One of the things that I wanted to share with you is Ohio's vision for preschool special education. I think it's an important one. So each young child with a disability is challenged, prepared, and empowered for his or her future by having access to an inclusive, high-quality early childhood program where each child is provided individualized and appropriate support in meeting high expectations. And that's definitely the key. So the next slides, I wanted to kind of think about this in terms of, I have a child with a disability. I've also been in early childhood for a lot of years, and parents have had questions. And some of these questions are just the common questions that I've heard in the past and that have been documented. So I wanted to share those with you. One of the first ones is, what is special education in early childhood? Special education is guided by the federal law known as Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, which is often referred to as IDEA. This law was established to make sure all children with disabilities have access to receive a free, appropriate public education. We call that FAPE, in their least restrictive environment. And a lot of times we refer to that as LRE. A child with a disability receives their special education services and supports through an individualized education program, often referred to as an IEP, provided at no cost to the parent. The special education services and supports are provided in the general education curriculum with typically developing peers, unless the child needs a different environment or setting to meet their unique needs. So another question that you might ask is, who's eligible for preschool services? So some of the guiding things are that a child has to be at least 3 years of age and not yet 6 years old. Another key component would be that they meet the definition of a child with a disability. So that includes, I'm going to try to break this down a little bit more and share, what this means in as we read through this. So this includes a child who is experiencing developmental delays in one or more of the following areas. So it could be physical development, which includes things such as gross motor skills, like running, skipping, hopping, jumping, fine motor skills, which are your writing, drawing, cutting, putting pegs in a pegboard, cognitive development, which is our thinking and reasoning skills, putting puzzles together, matching pictures, communication development, which would be our ability to communicate and share information with one another, as well as our ability to understand what's being spoken to us and follow directions. And social emotional development, which refers to our ability to be able to have strong social relationships with others, to be able to calm ourselves, to self-regulate, to have friendships, and to be able to pay attention in class. Other things would be adaptive development, which refers to a child's self-help skills. These would be things such as being able to drink from a cup, being able to spoon feed oneself, toileting, dressing skills, things like that. And who needs special education and related services. And when we're talking about related services, we're referring to things such as speech therapy, which addresses the communication skills, the child's ability to speak or to understand language, possibly articulation errors. Could be occupational therapy, which would be working with fine motor skills, drawing, cutting, things like that, or physical therapy, which would be running, skipping, hopping, jumping. And so all of these things are things that could be considered to assist the child to be able to access and participate and make progress in the general education curriculum. So it's somewhat like leveling the playing ground so that the child has the ability to have all the resources that they need to be able to learn. Another question as a parent would ask, and I guess if I could just back up one more, I'm going to make mention here. I do want to point out that a medical diagnosis alone does not make a child eligible for special education services, nor is a medical diagnosis necessary for determining eligibility. I just thought it was important to mention that. So how do we know if our child is on track? There are a lot of resources out there, and this is one that I prefer and I like. I feel like it's an easy one to access, and so I'm going to take you to it. It's called the CDC Developmental Milestones. When you get to this website, you will see a plethora of different age groups here, and you are able to look, at any of those ages. If you have siblings or children and other children in the home, you can look for any of them. Okay. And then there's also this really nice downloadable CDC free milestone tracker app. And so I'm just going to click on that and show you. On this app here, it has a lot of features. I really like it. You can add a child and a photo so that you can add multiple children so that you can track all of your kids in the home. You can track their progress in looking at important milestones. There are checklists that adjust for children who have been premature and they have to use their corrected age. There's milestone photos and videos to help you to understand what exactly that milestone means and what it looks like. There are tips and activities that will help you to help your child to progress in each of the developmental areas. Gives you ideas of when you might need to act early, talk to your child's doctor. And you can also track appointments to the doctor's appointments in there. And you can also, I believe it even has the ability that you can download this information and send it, a summary to your doctor. So it's really great. Okay, so one of the next things as a parent that you might ask would be, what steps can I take if my child is experiencing delays or I suspect that my child might have a disability? So you can start by contacting, you can contact your special education department within your district where you live. Most of the school districts have a website and you can access the special education director or the staff within that district. So when you do so, you're going to want to call or email the district, and you're going to want to request a preschool evaluation to see if your child might be eligible for preschool special education services. To find a school district, there's this nice school district lookup. Many times parents already know what district they reside in, but just in case if you don't know, you can use this website. You click on it, you'll click on an address, and then you'll put your address in, which I will just quickly put mine in. Oops. And then you will see right here, the school district's name. And it just so happens that I live in Kalida School District. So then I would know that I could go to the website and I could type in Kalida local schools. And on that website, it would tell me who the special education director was and a phone number to reach them. So I think you've already heard some of these. I know in one of the slides previous, I was using a lot of alphabet soup, but there are a lot of acronyms that are used in special education. So this is a great resource and it's linked in your handouts in the folder. And if I click on it, you'll be able to see a plethora of different acronyms that get used so that you can use it as a cheat sheet to help you to understand what it is that they're speaking about. Or if you want to do a search, you can type in the full word so that you can pull up the right thing that you're wanting to search. Okay, so after, let's say you ask the district to evaluate your child, then you're probably wondering, well, what happens to determine whether he or she is eligible for special education services? So you would know that when you call or you email, that is considered a request, and it's actually considered a formal referral date. Okay, so that by law means that the district needs to follow up. And within 30 days, they need to let you know whether or not they intend to complete an evaluation on your child. During this time, what usually happens is that someone will contact you, and it may be the district representative from the district. It could be their preschool supervisor who handles the evaluation process for that district. And they'll contact you. Likely, they will ask you to fill out paperwork. They will also likely have your child come in. They'll have them do some games, do some fine motor activities, possibly a speech screening. Districts are required to have a formalized screening process, and they do use a standardized procedure. So there might be some tools, and they'll look at all areas of development just to make sure that your child is on track. Okay. And then if they're not, they'll follow up with you and talk to you about what the next step is. But within 30 days, they are by law required to let you know whether or not they intend to complete the evaluation or not. If you want to access more information on this, we've linked a guide to parent rights in education and special education here, and it goes to the Ohio Department of Ed website. And if you scroll, there's a table of contents, and you will likely be able to find information about the evaluation process and other things as well, such as categories that could be potential categories for your child, lots of different things. Okay, then the next thing would be what happens before and during an evaluation. So you've done the referral, your child was screened, and now they've said, we believe that we suspect a disability and we'd like to complete an evaluation on your child. So what happens next is that you need to be included fully in that evaluation planning process. And what they will do is they will take you through the process. There's a variety of different assessment tools that they'll talk about. They will talk about who's going to have what part in that evaluation process. It may consist of observations, interviews, formal testing. It could be that they want to ask you questions. It could be that they want to ask if your child is attending a preschool within like a private preschool program. They might want to talk to your child's teacher and ask them for information as well. All of these are used as ways to inform them as to, collect all of the information that they can to determine whether the child will be eligible or not, okay? So you will be fully informed on who's doing what and how much. They're covering all areas of development. And then after the plan has gone through and you understand it, you would be asked to give your consent for the evaluation. And that's in writing. So you would sign your name. And after you would sign and date that, that means that it's formal. And now the formal evaluation can take place. And it's the district's responsibility to ensure that the timeline of determining whether the child is eligible or not eligible happens within 60 days. So what happens if your child is not found eligible for special education services? Okay, so the evaluation has been completed. You were a part of that. A meeting will take place and information will be shared with you from the evaluation team report. Using data, each member of the team, including yourself, will either agree or disagree on whether or not your child is eligible. And they will walk you through that. They will be sharing a plethora of information and also guiding you to know, what exactly it means to be a child with a disability and the categories that go along with that and how that's determined. And those will be listed as reasons for the decision in writing on that prior written notice. Everyone will receive a prior written notice documenting the summary and results of that evaluation team report. Oops. Sorry about that. It just jumped ahead. Oh, I see. I must have clicked on the link. There we go. Oh, again.
Amy, you've got about 6 minutes left.
Thank you, Kim. There we go. If you disagree, you can certainly take steps to resolve that outlined in the guide that I shared with you previously, and it's linked here. And then if your child is eligible, what's the next step? The next step would be to create and develop an IEP. And this is an individualized education program. It's a legal document. It defines how the district is going to meet your child's needs. It will tell all kinds of things, like, for instance, the specific goals, the present levels, the services that your child is going to have, the frequency, who's going to deliver the services, how much time is that going to be, what kinds of supports, all kinds of things on this. This is considered the continuum, and so we're talking about where the child might be served. And so this would be the least restrictive environment all the way to the most restrictive. These are options that your team will talk to you about in the meeting. And when a child is eligible for special education services, the child is eligible for a free and appropriate public education, which means that they receive at no cost to you the general education curriculum as well as the special education curriculum. All right. So from all of this, the next steps, there's just a couple things here. What you can do with this information, you can visit the preschool special education FAQ, which is on the Ohio Department of Ed website. You can go to the CDC Developmental Milestones website and look to see how your child is on track. You can contact your district if you have concerns. All of these things are linked here. And then one thing that you might consider is if you suspect that your child has a delay, you could use this statement here and you could speak this to your district rep when you would call. I'm concerned about my child's, and then you could fill in the blank of what area it is that you're concerned with. And again, we've linked the CDC developmental milestones for you. Okay, Kim.
Sometimes this information can be overwhelming, so we want to make sure that you guys are aware that we do have regional support. We have parent mentors available in 3 of our counties, Allen, Champaign, and Mercer County. So we have Jenna, Jacqueline, and Beth, who are amazing support. So I wanted to include the email or the websites actually and the phone numbers for these ladies who are able to help to support you. But if you do not live in one of these counties, that's the next slide where we make sure that we want to reach out to Erin. So Erin's with us here tonight. So thanks for being here to support us and to support the families in our region. So the coalition, the Ohio Coalition for the Education of Children with Disabilities, is Ohio's Parent Information Center. So they've got a lot of great resources and a brand new release website today. So they've had a website, but it's all refreshed and new today. So I look forward to checking that out. And Erin's a great contact and resource for all of us as well. So if you have questions, which I think is what's on the next slide, Amy, these are wonderful ladies that you can reach out to, and then of course to Amy. So I'll open up to any questions that you may have.
Okay. And there's nothing in the chat, assuming.
No, nothing in the chat.
Okay. Well, I certainly, it can be overwhelming to be on a Zoom and to be able, to talk out loud and ask some questions, but feel free to email me. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
And I would be happy to answer any questions too for parents going through this with really young children. It is overwhelming. I have been there. My son has autism. He's 17. But I remember those early days, those first IEP meetings with the preschool team, and it can be a scary time for parents. So definitely understand that. And I am doing trainings also with Beth and Jacqueline in March. It's going to be an early childhood, early intervention to preschool, and then with Beth also I'll be presenting on parents' rights too. So that'll be exciting. Just trying to get our feet wet with our parent mentors and working with them and being a team. So it should be good.
Right. That's great. Amy, we can go ahead and skip this poll for tonight.
Okay.
Thanks, Erin, for sharing that information. I wanted to direct you to our website. So we have a series that we're running with all these different topics. And as we present the topic, all these different consultants from our office are involved with it. And as soon as we finish this recording, then I upload it to YouTube. I'm working on my skills. I upload it to YouTube and then I add it to the link to the website. And so that little icon, not on this picture, but on our website, you would be able to click right on that and that would take you to the link of the video. And we also have the resources that Amy has mentioned in the presentation tonight. Those are also available on our website. So there we go, Amy. Thanks for sharing that. And I also put it in chat a couple times too. So the last thing that I'm asking you guys tonight, if you could scan this QR code with your phone, just to answer a few questions to give us some feedback. And those of you that attended tonight, I can also send you the link if you don't have your phone available with you tonight. That wouldn't be a problem to do, but thank you guys so much for attending, for participating, and providing feedback on how we did tonight and anything that we can do for improvements.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity to talk to you.